Hello friends, welcome to Abhidhamma 19th videos. So we have finished with Abhidhamma. So today in this video, let's see how we can implement the learning of Abhidhamma in our day-to-day life. And if we can't apply whatever we learned in Abhidhamma in our day-to-day life, there's no use of learning Abhidhamma. So it should come to our daily life. So let's see how can we implement the theoretical part of this Abhidhamma into the practical aspects of our daily life. So first of all, we have seen in that Abhidhamma, actually it is not our words or deeds that is making the karma. It is the mental volition that is making the karma. So as a meditator, we are supposed to do meditation every morning as well as evening. 1 hour we are doing the meditations. But apart from that, what we are doing in our daily life, what's your mental concomitants or chedasikas, or what is happening in your mind, we need to observe. Normally what people do, they meditate in the morning as well as even in the evening, 1 hour each, and they forget whatever they did, and in the daytime, rest all the time, we are generating lot of negativity within our mind, craving, aversion, ignorance. We don't know what is happening in our mind. So after learning Abhidhamma, we understood that the unwholesome mental factors are the root causes of karma. Whether we do something physically or verbally, it doesn't matter. So we need to see that what is happening in our mind from morning till evening or till tomorrow morning, what is happening in our mind. So that we need to see. That means whether the mind is full of craving or aversion or ignorance. So we need to observe all these three characteristics all the time. Whether we meditate or doesn't meditate, doesn't matter. All the time we need to see the mental factors within us and the mind within us. So that is what we need to do. So in your day-to-day life, we need to think what's happening in your mind, whether it is with craving or aversion or ignorance. Then we should try to change that to alobho, adoso, amoho. That means non-craving, non-aversion, and non-ignorance. So if you can do that, then you can implement this Abhidhamma in your practical life. Most of the time people are not aware. They just do 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening. They sit and the work is over, until the next day they're creating lots of unwholesome mental factors within them. So the progress will be very, very little. Actually, it is a 24 hours aspects. We need to observe the mind all the time. Whether we are doing anything, we need to see what is happening in our mind. It's only possible when your mindfulness is very, very good. Or if the mindfulness is not good, then we cannot observe what is happening in your mind, because there is a lot of ignorance, and with this ignorance the craving and aversion starts. We also saw that the craving and aversion doesn't come of its own, because the ignorance is there, that moha or the delusion is there, then only this craving and aversion comes. So there should not be ignorance, there should not be delusions. All the time we should be watchful, mindful, sati, and sambhajanya. That means all the time we are aware, and we are aware the impermanent nature of the whatever happening in the five khandhas, in the body as well as in the mind. So that is how we have to do. And the next thing is, whatever we do, for example, we are doing some service, we are doing some donations, or we are doing some charity, it should come from our own volitions. So that is called unprompted. Unprompted good things, it has got more merits than prompted one. We want to do some charity, we want to give some donations, so it should come from within, and with wisdom we should do that. If I'm doing this, then there will be a lot of merit for me. So like that, with the wisdom, with lots of joy, we should do that. So if you are doing that, our merits will be good. In the same way, When we do unwholesome things without the instigation of others, we are doing it for ourselves, then also the bad effect will be more because it is unprompted, because the sankhara is stronger than the prompted one. So we need to understand this also. So before someone tells you and someone is asking you to do, you yourself should do that. Then your karma will be more good or bad. That is, you are doing that one. And without understanding, if you are doing, without there is knowledge, jnana or wisdom, if you are doing something, the effect will be very less. For example, you are giving donations and without any knowledge of the cause and effect, then the good effect will be less. So that is the thing. And you also understood that by learning Abhidhamma, that if you want to get a human birth or birth in Deva Rams, you need to do a lot of good things like morality as well as donations, charity. All these things can, if you can do, you can get birth in Devaloka or human world. But if you want to get birth in fine material sphere or immaterial sphere, then you need to do bhavana or meditations that you have already seen. That the first 5 Rupavachara dhyana, if you are doing, then only you will get birth in that type of places. And if you go for Arupa dhyana, then you will get in the other planes. So that also you understood. So try to do more and more bhavana or meditations so that we can get birth in the higher plane. And it's not for the sake of the birth that we are doing, because we need lots of time for doing all this meditation, all these things. And for that, we are trying to get the birth of all these places. So that's also we understood. Then the next thing is that we are aware that 10 Punya Kiriya Vattu, that means the meritorious deeds that we are supposed to do in Abhidhamma, that we should remember. For example, we should try to do lots of dana or charity. That is the first thing that we need to do for progressing in the path. When people hear about dana, they become a little bit of confused and become a little bit of perplexed, because dana means charity. They don't have anything. Then how can we give something? And some people have lots of money, but still their mind is not good enough to part with that money. So the problem is there also. So what we should do, we should try to develop this dana pavami little by little. For example, if we are having lots of attachment to the money, so we should try to donate 1 rupees a day. Take a strong adhithan or strong determinations in your mind. For the next 1 year, I am going to donate 1 rupees each for every day of my life. So it's possible for everyone to donate at least 1 rupees a day. So how can we donate? Either we can give it to a person, or we can take some eatables and give to birds or animals. Of course, the result of giving charity to the birds as well as animal is lesser than giving to the human being. But if it is not available, then what we can do? So we can do this charity to the birds and animals because it is always available around us. So we can give, purchase some around 100 rupees or something, some eatable items. Then we can daily we can give to birds, animals, so like that. So the more we do this charity, the attachment to the money will be automatically broken and we'll be developing this dana pami. So this is the easiest way to give dana. Some people, once in a blue moon time, they give lots of money, and the rest of the time they don't give money, because it is not that money that give you that dana parmi, that is your volitions. So if you do the dana or charity daily, your volition will be more and more stronger and you will get more and more result. And one more thing you need to understand, you are not giving dana to others, you are giving money to yourself. Because in this life we are having lots of comforts, lots of money because of some good deeds in the past. So if we do now, then it will be a good asset for the future. I heard that once upon a time monk told me he's preparing for his future journey. For example, we are preparing for a journey through a desert or some oceans for 2 months or 3 months. So what we do, we'll hold lot of eatables with us and we'll try to eat it daily, because if we don't hold some eatables, then we'll be hungry in the journey, will not be able to complete in the desert as well as in the oceans. So in the same way, we are going for a long journey. After the death, we are going for a long journey. So what is the asset with us? So we should try to think, for example, if tomorrow, if the death over for me, what's the asset for me? Is there any asset with me? If there is no asset, then how can I have a good life? How can I have a good journey? So for that, we need to amass lots of this dana parami. You need to think, for example, tomorrow if I die, am I happy? You ask yourself, am I happy? Do I have lots of merits with me? Do I have lots of earning with me? And if you feel that you are having lots of earning with you when you die, then you are on the right path. And if you feel that there's a deprivations, or you understand that there's nothing that's going to support you in the future life, then we need to do it daily so that your mind will be full. Then after 1 or 2 years, you ask the same question to you, do you have any good merits with you? Then your mind, inner mind will say, yes, I did lots of dana and this is my future earning and this will come with me, and you will be full. And if you keep on doing this for daily, if spontaneous, a happiness will come from within and your mind will be stable. Your meditation will be so deep and you won't have any problem. Or you can give to your parents also. If there are elder parents, old parents, you should try to give them daily or monthly some amount. Whether they are having something or not, doesn't matter, but you need to give them, because you also having your own children and you expect something from them. In Abhidhamma, you have learned that the kamma and the vibhaga, that is, or the kamma or the result is very, very important. And if you do good kamma, then only you will get good result. And if you don't do good kamma, you are not going to get the result. For example, your parents and kith and kins are there and you are not looking after them, then you hope that by feeding and giving all the necessities to your children, they will be looking after you in the future. It is a mere illusion. It is not going to happen, because the kamma is our relatives, nothing else. So if you give to your parents, to your elder people, then certainly it will come back to you. So that is why you need to practice this dana. That's also one of the 10 punya kiriya vattu, that means meritorious deeds, that is described in Abhidhamma. Then also you know that the Shila, the daily, the Shila should be there. 5 precepts you should observe. If you don't observe these 5 precepts daily, then your meditation is going to be screwed up, because you are not going to have a good meditations. Because whatever distractions that is coming through our meditations, it is because of our breaking precepts in the past. So if you observe the Shila correctly, then you will not have any problem. It doesn't mean that you need to be perfect in the Shila. It is just not possible. Unless you become a Sodapanna, you are going to break your precepts every now and then. Doesn't matter. But always make a strong determination that the next time I will not break. Like that, you try to observe the precept as much as possible. It is the basics of all our meditations. If the basic is weak, then we cannot advance in the path of meditations. So we need to understand that whatever distractions we are facing, whatever difficulties we are facing in our daily life as well as in the meditation, it is due to the breaking of our precepts in the past. So we are not supposed to break our precepts at any cost, and we should try to keep our precepts strongly. Then it will help you. So that's also one of the important things. Then we know that the bhavana or meditation is very much important, and if you don't do meditation in the morning as well as evening, then your mindfulness will be very weak during daytime. then there's an on opportunity for the craving and aversion to arises, and we are not even aware that the craving and aversion is there. So we are not going to progress very much in the practice. So bhavana or the meditation is very much important. 2 hours or 3 hours or 4 hours, whatever time you get. For example, some people say that I don't have any time because I'm very busy with my job. From morning till 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the evening, I'm very, very busy. But you need to understand, from morning 3 o'clock, you can get up and do meditation for 3 hours. And the evening, after 6 o'clock, you're free. You can do meditation up to 10 hours or 11 hours, no problems. So you can do that type of meditations. I have heard about a story of a person who is a businessman and who is very busy from morning 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, but the rest of the time he utilizes his time. He sit for meditation from evening 6 to 10 o'clock, already 4 hours he meditated, and the morning he get up around 3 o'clock, then he meditated up to 6 o'clock. So 7 hours he is meditating in every night. So his balance is very, very good. And the daytime he is not going to get anger or animosity or ill will or anything, because his mindfulness is very good. So bhavana is very much important. We should try to inculcate this meditation habit in our day-to-day life. Then only we'll get the birth in the upper plane. Our aim is not to take the birth, our aim is to get nibbana, but bhavana is very, very important for getting nibbana. If we don't do bhavana, if we only study Abhidhamma, we are not going to get anything. Then we also saw that there is one quality that is called appachayana. Appachayana means reverence to elders. That's also very, very important. Reverence to the Buddha, reverence to the Dhamma, reverence to the Sangha, reverence to the elders, reverence to the bhikkhus, all are very important. Whenever we are paying respect, our mind will be smooth, our mind will be very happy, the other person mind will be very happy. If you do respect like this, then certainly we also will get respect. And if you don't give respect, no one will respect us. So giving respect make your mind calm down and you'll have a good meditations. So good meditation is very much important for getting nibbana. So reverence of others, that means saluting or your greeting to elders and showing respect to them, to the monks, to your elders, to your parents is utmost importance. And the next one is Pattidana. Pattidana means if our relatives or someone is dead and if you want to help them, so we can do some charities and transfer this merit to the departed one. It is also very important. Some people have a lot of difficulties in their mind because after meditations, Vipassana meditation, their mind open up and they will have a lot of guilty consciousness within them because they couldn't look after their parents, they couldn't look after their relatives and they are dead, and there is always a sort of inner turmoil within them. So how to come out of that? By doing this Pattidana, you can come out of them. You donate some money or do some charity and share this merit with your departed parents or departed your relatives, whoever it may be. So that torments, that difficulties that within you will be slowly go and will help you also and will help your departed souls also. So this is also very important. That means Pattidana or transferring your merits with them. And the next thing is Pattanimodana. That's also very important. In your daily life, if someone is doing some good things, you need to appreciate that good things. That's also very important. So that's why in the meditation traditions, when some monks teach us the meditation, we say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That means it's good that you have done wonderful things. I also support this type of these things. So this is one of the form of Pattanimodana. That means we are rejoicing the merits on others. So what will happen? We'll get a part of that merits. If someone is doing some merits and if you support them, if you say sadhu, 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 if you back up, then we can get the merits out of that also. Because we are supporting more good things. So we should always try to do this Pattanimodana. If someone is doing good things, we should try to support them by saying few words or participating in that good deeds, then we also can get the same merits. The same way, we should not support any wrong thing happening in our society. Anyway, for example, we are in business, so we should not support something wrong by telling them good, you have done a good thing, like that. We should never support any wrong things. If you support them, we will get the part of the demerits. That's also we need to remember. So Pattanamodana, that's also very much important. And the next thing is Dhamma Savana. Always we should try to listen to some good Dhamma talk. That's also very important. So we have seen in the 10 Punya Kiriyavatu, that's also one of the things. Because if we listen to Dhamma talk, our inspiration will be very good, and we want to progress in the path, we want to meditate more. So this Dhamma Savana, always, it is always good, because we can get the right direction for our meditations, and if there is some correction is to be needed, then we can do. It's always inspire us to practice more. So how to do this Dhamma Savana? For example, if you don't have time, then keep some YouTube videos of Dhamma and switch it on. Then you do whatever in the morning you are supposed to do. For example, you are doing exercise, at that time you keep that and you do exercise and listen to that. Or you are just relaxing after your midday meal or after your midnight meal, then you can switch on that mobile and listen to some Dhamma talk. So it will inspire you a lot. So it's also one of the 10 Punya Kiriya Vattu. So that also we should try to do. And the next thing is Dhamma Desana. That means telling others about the Dhamma or teaching others about the Dhamma. That's also, if you are capable in any way, you should try to do that. By, if you are not able to give some Dhamma lectures, at least you can print out some materials and give to others, or you can help them to understand some suttas, or you can tell them that about different suttas, or any way you can convince other people about the Dhamma, then that itself is a Dhamma Desana. So we should try to teach others also Dhamma. Whatever we know, we should try to teach them. Not meditations. If you are capable of meditation, then only we should teach. I'm not talking about meditation, but you should teach others about the Dhamma. For example, someone is not doing precepts, you should tell them that precept is good, you should try to practice. If someone is not doing Samadhi, then you should tell them that Samadhi is good, try to practice. So you should try to motivate others in the path of Dhamma by giving Dhamma Desana or teaching of the Dhamma. Then the next one is Diddhijjukamma. That means we should try to come out of that ditti or wrong view regarding ourselves. That is called Diddhijjukamma. If you are having some wrong view, we should try to remove that. So that's also a good thing to do in our day-to-day life. Then we have seen some paramitas are there, or some good paramita. We should try to develop that also. So we have talked about Dana, Shila and Panya. Panya means in the Bhavana we have talked about Panya. So there are some other things that we should try to inculcate in our daily life. And something that we have not discussed is Nekkhamma. Nekkhamma means leaving our home as well as our own family for a forest life, for a meditation life. So every year, at least you should try to break from all your business, all your family, and you should try to go to some meditation center for at least 10 days or 1 month or 2 months or 3 months, whatever it may be. It is very, very required, because if you don't do this thing, then you are not going to get what you want in your this life. So Nekkhamma is very, very important. For our progress, we should try to go out of our home and devote exclusively ourselves for this meditation practice in some meditation centers. Or if there is no meditation centers are available, at least you should try to lock yourself in a room and get some 2-time food and do your self meditations. So it is very, very important to go deeper. If you don't do such a type of renunciations or Nekkhamma, then we are not going to advance in the path. So that's also we should try to remember. And there is one thing called Viriya, or the effort. we should try to put in maximum effort thinking about our death, Marananasati. So, if you are lacking this virya or effort, we should think about our death. Anytime it can overpower us. So, before that, we should try to achieve Nibbana. So, we have to think about the death to become more efficient or more working in the meditation. So, the virya or the effort will be more. Then the next thing is Khandi or the patience that we have already discussed about our mindfulness. So if there is some disturbance, then we should try to keep our calm and patience. That is very, very important. Trying situation will be there in the day-to-day life. At that time, how we are going to deal with that hard things? That is by doing keeping calm or doing patience. That is one of the parami that we should try to develop. During meditation also, we should not become distracted, because we are not able to meditate continuously. Then we start cursing ourselves. Oh, I am not able to do meditation. What type of person I am? Like that, if you are doing, then there is no patience. So Khandi is very much important for getting Nibbana. The easiest way to the Nibbana is keeping your patience. If you want that, I want Nibbana, you are going the opposite directions. So try to keep your patience. That's also very, very important. Then the next one is Satcha or truth. You should be always telling others truth, and you should always do truth only. You should never tell lies to others, and you should never engage in no truthful things in your business or in your day-to-day life. So truth, that's also very much important in your day-to-day life. Then the next one is Adhitthana or strong determinations. You should have very strong determination in your day-to-day life or in your day-to-day sitting. You should determine that for next 2 years or 1 year I am going to sit like this. So like that, you have to take strong determination within you. Then your virya or effort will be increasing. And if you don't take such a strong determination or adhitthana, we are not going to progress. If you are having some shortcomings, we should try to say that I am going to come out of this shortcoming by doing more and more these strong determinations. So there are so many strong determination. As I said earlier, you should try to think that for the next 1 year, I am going to donate 1 rupees each per day to any animals or birds or to human, or I am going to donate some amount every month to my old parents. Whether they need or doesn't matter. But on your part, you should clear your mind by doing all these things. So this type of adhitthana or strong determination will boost your meditation to the next level. So that's also very important. Taking strong determinations daily or weekly or monthly, you should take some or the other strong determination, so that this parami, this adhitthana will increase daily. And the next thing is metta or goodwill towards others people. So that's also very much important. So daily you should try to send metta to your teacher, to Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, to your meditation teacher, to your parents, and to all beings. That you should not forget, because metta is very, very important for you to calm down your mind, to purify your mind. Because if you are not sending metta to others, that means you are having strong attachment to yourself. So we should try to come out of this attachment by sending metta to others. So daily we need to do this metta or loving kindness meditation with all beings. So that's also very, very important. And the next one is ubekha or equanimity. So equanimity in your daily life, it should be there. Strong equanimity should be there. Without that, you can't progress. There will be trying situation in your day-to-day life, doesn't matter, but you should not react to that. It's easier said than done, but most of the time we do react. But we should try to come out of this bad habit. For example, when we are meditating, there will be a lot of uddacha kukkucha, that means a lot of restlessness will come. And if you are not equanimous, then you are going to react with that, then it's going to be a problem for you. So you should understand, okay, there is a lot of restlessness now. So let it be there, doesn't matter, I am going to do my duty. So like that you have to be equanimous to each and every situations, outside or inside. Outside some unpleasant things may come, but you should be equanimous. From inside some unpleasant or some other things will come, you should be equanimous. So this ubekkha or equanimity is very, very important in your day-to-day life. So we have seen that we are nothing but the four ultimate things that we have already seen: the mind, the mental concomitants, and the body, as well as the nibbana. So we have seen, analyzed all these matters together, and we understood that there is no such person as I or mind existing in this body or as well as mind, because everything is happening automatically. There are 89 or 121 minds, there are 52 mental concomitants, there are 28 rupas, and of course there is nibbana beyond all this world. So we understood that there is no I or mine in this. So you should always think about this type of things in your life. You should think that I am made of these four khandas or five khandas, the body as well as the four mental part, and I am reacting to all these things. It is not at all good. There is no I, there is no mind. So like that you should always try to think. So as you think, you will be progressing very fast. But the essence of the Abhidhamma is that you should be aware of what is happening in your mind every moment. That is very, very important. That's what we learned. So earlier we are not aware. We thought that morning 1 hour meditation, evening 1 hour meditation, that is more than sufficient. But after learning Abhidhamma, you understood that you are making kamma without doing anything. You are making kamma. For example, you are sitting and there's strong aversion or strong ignorance or strong craving within your mind, then you are making your own kammas, good kammas or bad kammas. So that is up to you to make what type of kamma do you want to make. Do you want to make some good kammas or do you want to make some bad kammas? So you should be mindful each and every second of your life about what's happening in your mind. Or you should try to be in meditative mood all the time. Whatever happening, you should understand is not mine, anicca, dukkha, and anatta. So if you keep on practicing this every moment of your life, then the Abhidhamma, whatever you learned, that is coming to your daily life. And if it is not, then it is not coming in your daily life. So this is the benefit of learning Abhidhamma. That means you are aware of your mental thoughts, and you know that there is three root that you should always try to avoid: raga, dosa, or moha, craving, aversion, or ignorance. We should try to come out of that. Always we should be mindful about what is happening in our body as well as mind. Then we are practicing this Abhidhamma in your daily life. Otherwise not. So this is the essence of the Abhidhamma. Always mindful about what is happening in your body as well as mind. Always try to change your mind to non-craving, non-aversion, or non-ignorance, or with lots of metta. Whatever comes, disturbance, you should be aware and you should try to change that immediately. So that is the importance of learning Abhidhamma. That's how you have to practice the Abhidhamma in your daily life. Be aware, whatever happens, every moment, be aware, and if some unwholesome factors coming in your mind, immediately change to wholesome factors. This is how you need to practice Abhidhamma. With this, we have closed with all these Abhidhamma lessons, and you can, I have stored all these Abhidhamma lessons in a playlist. So you can forward this playlist to whoever want to learn Abhidhamma, so that they also can learn the Abhidhamma. So in my videos, you can go to the playlist and you can select Abhidhamma English. Then you can share this Abhidhamma lessons with whoever is needed. So they also can practice the same thing. So with that, let's end this Abhidhamma lesson. Thank you very much for being with me for this Abhidhamma journey. Thank you very much.